All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Spot On. Today, that old school chant is taking a back seat, and Spot On will be coming. You know that I've told you that every time I have something worthy of your listenership, I will bring it. And so, jumping quickly into what we have this evening, Nigeria runs a bicameral system as regards our parliament, and that means that we have the upper and the lower house. Now, the aim of all of this is to ensure that our laws are made for the people and benefit the people, bottom line. Let's not go into, what the lower house does and what the upper house does. They are supposed to work together for the good of the people of Nigeria. But as it stands today, in a climb where Nigerians are asking, how much do we really pay these public servants? In a climb where Nigerians are talking about undressing the senators, I'm sure you remember the hashtag that went viral at some point, and why it died, we do not know. But certainly, with the things and the events, with current events, one would not be surprised if that hashtag sees a resurgence. Today, we're asking, are public servants in the National Assembly talking about both the lower and the upper house, the green and the red chamber, the representatives and the senators? Are they there for the good of the people of Nigeria? It's very easy to look at the president and look at the governor and castigate. And in the bid to serve their own purpose, these people who we often forget as citizens join hands with us in castigating when they themselves have a part to play. They have powers to influence and change the way things are done in Nigeria. With me today, joining us via Zoom, is someone who is no stranger to us, but he will be joining us via Zoom today because we are speaking to him. He's currently outside the shores of this country, and so we have to have him via Zoom. I'm talking about the person of Timothy Deed. You're welcome. You are in a very noisy area. Can we get you to go somewhere
Okay.
more quiet?
Okay. Okay. Good evening. Thank you for having me, Jacqueline. It's my pleasure having you this evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Timothy Adidi. It's a pleasure to have you, a passionate Nigerian. You've always spoken for the citizens of this country, and we're glad to see that your work is continuing for the Nigerian state, even outside this country. Now, before I go to you, I would like to quickly play a clip for our listeners, or I introduce exactly why we're asking this question about our public servants, talking about the senators and our federal representatives, who are both in the upper and lower house, respectively. I'd like to play a clip. And now, this commotion that you're about to hear was because of a bill that was pushed or raised by someone. We'll talk more. Let me quickly play that clip and then we'll come back to Mr.
Well, I want to.
On the 3rd of March 2022, lawmakers in Nigeria rejected a bill that sought to stop the children and works of public servants from studying abroad. The sponsor of the bill, Sergio Sogun, believes the bill is crucial to rescuing Nigeria's educational system.
I mentioned in the course of the debate, when was the last time we visited our alma mater, the schools we attended, they are in a terrible state. If you are a public servant, a civil servant, you write the budget. And then the public servant, the National Assembly member or the legislator approves the budget. The president assents to it. And if you follow these three layers, okay, it's still three, because if you go back to the civil servants that we award the projects, the contracts to contractors, and they will be the one to issue certificates for the contractors to be paid. And then the public servant, the legislator, will have to go back for what they call oversight, to ensure that the job is actually done. If all this class of people have their children schooling outside, why would they be concerned about what enters the budget and how it is utilized? If you are a civil servant, you are a lawmaker, you are a president, you are a governor, whatever, and your children are schooling here, I mean, do you think they will allow ASU to go on strike, knowing that their children will not go to school? Will they allow the state of education, the infrastructure, the buildings, to dilapidate the way they are today? They will not. It's simple. They will not allow it. But they have detached themselves from this process. It's them versus us. Them below there, yeah, whatever they get, that's it. Us, our children will go out there and get the basic education and whatever they need in life and all that. So that's the point we are trying to make by this bill. So if we are all in here as public servants and we don't have the luxury of sending our children outside, people will pay more attention. That's basically it. And I believe strongly that if that's the case today, if there's a law today that says if you are in public space, if you are serving in public space, you cannot send your children to private school or school overseas. You must attend public schools. The state of our schools will change.
All right, coming back to the state of our schools will change. I'm having some feedback. Give us a moment and all right, we're back. All right, this is much better. Indeed, we're live. Please check us out on Facebook. We're live with Mr. Timothy Dokwesi Didi. And today we're asking a question about our lawmakers. Are they in the hallowed chambers, like we love to say, for our own sake? Now, two events have happened recently. That on the 3rd of March, we had senators in a heated, and when I mean heated, I mean really heated debate, because they were against a bill that was raised by Honorable Sergio Sogun, representing Isha in the House. And suffice it to say that they did not agree. The bill he raised was about compelling public servants to have their children school in Nigeria. We're still having some noise from you, Mr. Didi. If you could still move away from some noise. And then we also have the gender bill that we see in the way that the constitutional amendment that was supposed to take into consideration all the inequalities that we have in this country and try to adjust to them. and yet we see such things being thrown away into the dustbin. And so Nigerians ask, are our representatives at lower and upper chamber really representing the people of Nigeria? And if they are we on the right path? If they're not, what can we do about it? Once again, allow me to welcome Timothy Dokwesi Adidi. Mr. Timothy.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jacqueline Adebija. It's my pleasure meeting with you once again. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you, even though your voice is echoing. I think you're in a hall. If you could get yourself into a room that is a little bit quiet, it would make for a better conversation.
Okay, let me see. Please, can I just call, please? Okay, hello? Okay.
Yes, we can hear.
Let's just manage the situation. Let's just manage the situation, please.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Good. Good. Like I said, once again, thank you for having me on this show this evening, speaking from the outside the shores of Nigeria. I had to keep this commitment not to disappoint you as it is. Now, you see, these issues are very, very fundamental. And for me, the House of Representatives, like we have always known, and we are yet to come out of the fact that politicians in Nigeria seems to be driven by selfish interest than public interest. And the point is this: if we do not take decisive steps, if we do not take decisive actions, if we do not take hard decisions, we will not come out of this selfish interest that has subjected us to conditions that we are not able to explain in our country today. You see, ours is a polity that is individualistic. Ours is a polity that is selfish. Ours is a polity that is of self-aggrandizement. And the reactions of the House of Representatives, for me, is not surprising. For me, it is not new, because the kind of people we've put into power are those who do not have the public interest at heart.
How did we get to this point, Mr. Adidi? Talking about people who were elected. These people were not appointed, they were elected. That means that you and I voted them in those chambers. How did we get to this point?
There is a fundamental thing wrong with our recruitment process in Nigeria. There is something wrong with our concept of our electoral democracy. There's something wrong fundamentally with our consensus, with party politics. There's something wrong with our partisan politics that is unrefined, that is undefined, that is also undemocratic. And so that is how we got there. Until we are able to resolve, to understand fundamentally that democracy is built on integrity. Democracy is built on merits. Democracy is not built on sentiment. Then we'll keep remaining where we are and not to retract our step as to where we want to go. So that is the situation we are, and that is how we got there.
So, but looking at what is going on, like Ukraine today, a place where Nigerian students number over 4,000, as at the last time I checked. That, for a lot of people, if nothing else has been an eye-opener for us, that in itself should have been an eye-opener for our senators, for our federal representatives in the federal house, and even at state level. I mean, just talking as a whole about people who were elected to go and speak our mind at national and even at state level. Today we're looking at the national, because these are things that affect the whole country. Nigerian students, Nigerian women, when you're talking about excluded groups from the democratic space, we're talking youth, women, and persons with disability. And yet, we have a chance to get it right, a chance to make moves that will correct whatever it is that is wrong in these affairs. And yet, we have people who do not want to do that. It is not just the fact that they're not
I
speaking.
want to get some, I want us to get something. I want us to get something correctly, Jacqueline.
Yes.
Nobody has excluded anybody from politics in Nigeria, and I want to make this very, very clear. Nobody has excluded anybody. What we have in a country like Nigeria is political apathy. People are not just ready to get engaged with government. Our understanding of democracy in Nigeria is limited to elections alone. And that is because people anticipate that it is only during elections they can get what they want from politicians. And so therefore the idea of one man, one vote does not translate into one man, one bread. And so therefore you need to understand these issues, that we should be ready to work as youths, as women, as stakeholders in this country. We need to be ready to work. The only way we can disenfranchise, not strictly to stop people from doing what they want to do in politics, but the only way we can overcome is when we actively participate. And there's no choice about it. Because whether you like it or not, participation in politics is a fundamental human right. And if it's a fundamental human right, you should understand the fact that you need to work for it. But if you sit in one place and you expect people to come and give it to you, my sister, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Okay, let's even come back, whether they're excluded or not. For me, looking at the heated debate that emanated simply because someone pushed a bill or raised a motion or bill, I don't know, the political jingle used in the House, that we should have public servants sending their children to Nigerian schools. I mean, seeing that debate tells me that, one, it isn't that our elites are unaware of what is going on in this country, particularly in this instance in the educational sector, and that secondly, they just don't care. And it's difficult to understand and wrap one's mind around the reasons for this careless attitude towards something that is supposed to be yours.
Exactly. This was highly reflected recently when the Minister of Education, Alhaji Adamu, when you see the kind of attitude and character he displayed before the president of NANS, shows again how politicians, government officials, public servants who are in high places are not ready to solve problems in this country. So you see, these are very, very critical issues. These are very, very critical issues in the sense that someone like Adamu, the Minister of Education, with what he has done, will still remain in office up to when this administration finishes. And so therefore, the point is this: we have, I don't want to say we have made a mistake, but I hope Nigerians will learn in these coming elections that we are about to begin, so that we learn from our mistakes, so that the quality of persons we put in power will also determine the way forward. So I'm not surprised what is happening in the House of Assembly or House of Representatives. It has reflected in what the Minister of Education did, and so therefore we will keep hanging on this until this government is changed, so that we can decide for ourselves for a better Nigeria.
Now, coming back to something you said, that no one is excluded in Nigeria, I would like to take you up on this, because when you take a look at the constitutional amendment that is taking, and the bills, the parts of the Constitution that women want to change, you would find that we're taking a look at blatant inequality, blatant disregard for a demographic that makes up more than half of the people in Nigeria. In Nigeria, the wife, if a foreign or foreign-born wife of any Nigeria can, and in most cases, automatically becomes a Nigerian. However, part of that constitution that could have been changed. For women, it's not the same. For women, it's not the same. A foreign-born husband of a woman will always be foreign-born, not recognized, no matter how long such a man lives in Nigeria. Another part of the constitution that women sought to have corrected is this 35% affirmative action to push a political party. You talked about the democratic process being flawed. And part of that is that women are not given an opportunity, even from party level, to occupy some position. And
no, see, Jacqueline, wait, don't go too far. See, Jacqueline, I just want to ask you one straightforward question.
yes,
And let me use this analogy now, Jacqueline. Let me invoke argumentum ad hominem. Let me take it personal with you, Jacqueline. First of all, let me come with the fundamental human right on the right to freedom of religious worship. Now, Jacqueline, you agree with me that if, as a man, I am a Catholic and I want to marry a woman who is not a Catholic, you know that for that marriage to take place, and for that woman to be known that she's married, she has to sacrifice where she worships just for her to get married and follow the husband to the church. Do you not think that is an infringement, or will you also see that as an infringement of the fundamental human right of the woman?
but do you think that this
Or is it the woman's choice? Is it the woman's choice to decide to leave her church and join the man in her church?
But what the argument we're having here is not the same, because what you would have asked me is,
This is the point. Yes, that's why I use the word. It's an analogy. So what I mean by I'm trying to use that. I'm trying to use that to explain.
No, let me explain.
I'm trying to use that to
Say
explain
that the analogy
the condition
is
of women. Wait,
Because
I'm trying to use that to
it's
explain
something that
the
holds
condition of women.
what you just explained, Mr. Didi, holds true,
Yes.
even if it is a woman in the Catholic Church who wants to marry a man.
Yes.
Unless the man insists, the Catholic Church also insists that that man become a Catholic because of its doctrines and its beliefs.
No. The Catholic Church gives rooms for mixed marriage. The Catholic Church gives rooms for mixed marriage. But this is my argument, that if women have to participate fully in politics, women have a role to play to liberate themselves first and foremost from the shackles of our culture. Very important. Because whether you like it or not, freedom, the fundamental human right for the woman to participate in politics is not measured on numerical strength. It is a fundamental human right. And so therefore, even saying that the woman should be given given seats, or some certain seats should be vacated for women to take, that in itself is undemocratic. The woman has every right. The woman has every decision to get 100% seat if they so wish and if they can in politics. That is my point, because it's a fundamental human right. But like I said, the problem is, how can this be achieved? This is where the challenge is.
Exactly.
And until women are able...
Hold on, pause there, Mr. Didi, pause there. How can this be achieved? Because at this point,
Yes.
we must emphasize on equity, not equality yet,
Sure.
but equity. We're talking about a people who have been disadvantaged for a very long time. And by the way, this is something that holds true all across the world. It's just that it varies from region to region. And we have this unique opportunity right now, and our representatives at federal level have thrown out what could have advanced development for this nation in that particular direction. And you are condoning it?
Now, Jacqueline, first and foremost, what I'm saying here, I'm not against women participating in politics. Rather, I am even speaking for women. I am saying women have the right. And in fact, saying that women should be given 40% seat, giving 50% seat, for me, is not even acceptable. Women have the right to possess even 80% seats. And if they so wish, if they can, let them possess 90% seats.
The operational
This is democracy
in a country like Nigeria is if they can. And we all know that with the present structure of our democratic spaces, you yourself talked about it being fundamentally flawed. That was part of what you talked about in your preamble, in your introduction. And we're saying, let us begin to talk about equity. And you're saying that
that is what I'm saying is, yes, it's flawed, and I'm also saying it can be corrected. And one of the process of beginning the correction is that we are saying allot them 30, 40, 50% space. And again, I'm even going further. I am saying, look, you even telling women that you are giving them 40. You see, they are not begging for it. Women are not begging for this. It is their right. Give it to them in full. And so therefore, what this means is that women should begin to mobilize themselves. That is my point. Let me tell you something, Jacqueline. Are you aware of the number of population of women we have in Nigeria? If women can galvanize themselves and say, for example, that every woman contributes 500 naira just to make sure that they mobilize themselves and organize themselves to become a formidable political party, do you know how far they can go?
I don't know if INEC would even allow that, because we do know that
if INEC does not allow that,
when the youth,
if INEC does not allow that, then INEC is infringing on the fundamental human rights of women.
But INEC did try that. What happened? We had a party by youths. Youths tried to float a party sometime in either 2015 or 2019. I think it was 2019, if I'm right. And INEC refused to have that party registered. Now, the only way we could get things like this corrected, the constitution of any country should be a living document. And that means a document that can change, a document that can be amended. It's not something dead. It's not something that cannot be touched because it's already over and done with. For every country that's advancing the Constitution, hold on. The Constitution is something that should be from time to time amended and corrected and added to. Whatever it is, we need a living document. Now, our representatives got a unique opportunity to correct this. And by the way, remember that we're not talking about women alone. We're also talking about the sorry condition that our educational system in Nigeria has come to today. Whether you're talking about primary, secondary, or tertiary level, our educational system is in shambles. And we have or had a unique opportunity to do something about it. And we haven't had anyone speak up on behalf of either the bill or the constitutional amendment. And so I come back to ask you, how can we get it right to have public servants speaking the mind of the people at national level? Let's even start at national level before we come to state, because national affects the whole country. And right now, what we need is something that will affect the whole country at the same time.
Now, Jack, let me tell you something. You see, if you are asking for these politicians to give you what you want, Jacqueline, you will never get it.
No. No.
Let me finish.
They are representatives first. We vote.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
When I talk about politicians, I'm talking about these representatives.
Yes.
Now let me tell you something, Jacqueline. That is why I'm telling you that the Nigerian people need to step up their game. Now, how do we need to step up their game? There's a need for the Nigerian populace to begin to think outside the box, to begin to break new grounds. If you feel you are no longer comfortable with your representative, it is very, very simple. Do not vote him to power in the next election. And you must not even wait for the next election to take place before you remove your representative. There's the power of recall. There's a power of recall. To what extent have Nigerians used the power of recall? You see, when these representatives come and they don't even meet up to their expectation, by the time they come to the constituency and they give you 1,000 or 2,000 naira, you keep quiet. That is a fundamental problem. So my basic point is this. Look, if you are waiting for these representatives to just give it to you like that, without you making an effort to challenge the status quo as Nigerians, and I think the NSAS protest that took place would have been a veritable tool to let the House of Representatives know that it is no longer business as usual in Nigeria. And so therefore, if we must make our education system quality enough, it therefore means that that bill that was proposed in the House was a giant step. But unfortunately, this is just a single voice. I do not know how many members of the representatives are supporting that bill. I wouldn't know how many. But from one indication, many people in the House of Reps are seriously against such bill. And of course, it is going to be difficult for it to fly. Why? Because members of representatives who have selfish interests than public interests are more than those who have public interest. They are more. So the only way we can do
we have what it takes to band together to do a recall. Apart from getting
that is why there's a need for a constitutional review, because even the whole idea about the power of recall is cumbersome. It's cumbersome in the constitution. And these are issues that we need to begin to look at in making constitutional amendments and constitutional review in Nigeria. These are the issues we need to look at.
Okay.
Now, if we try to shy away from this reality.
Let me stop you there, please, quickly. Let's go on a commercial break. And when we get back, this conversation continues. You're listening to Spot On Invicta 99 FM. All right, we're back. And thank you for staying with us through that commercial break. Still talking about our representatives at federal level. Are they there in our best interest? And if they're not, what can we do about it? 2023 is around the corner. For Foundation, we took a look at two very topical events that just happened. In the constitutional amendment, women were seeking for equity, and all the bills were thrown out. All of them, about 5 of them, all in all, they were thrown out. That would have granted women more access to democratic spaces. And of course, we also took a look at the debate, heated debate that went on in the House at federal level. Talking about whether or not public servants should be compelled to have their children school in Nigeria. Suffice it to say that most of them shut that bill down. It was dead on arrival. They did not want to hear it, and they asked for that bill to be withdrawn. This is where we stand today, and with us to take a look at these matters is Timothy Dokwesi Adidi, who has joined us from outside the country this time around. He's no stranger to us here, but this time around joining us from outside the country. Adidi, we have you back now.
Yes, I'm around. I'm back.
Okay. All right.
I'm back.
I would like to open up the phone lines quickly, but to have people also in. But before we go to the phone lines quickly, 2023 is around the corner, and Nigerians once again will get a chance to try to get it right. what should the average Nigerian do about this event that's going to grant us another opportunity?
Jacqueline, thank you for having me once again. Nigerians should think critically. Nigerians should elect leaders, not because these leaders have come from their villages, not because these leaders have given them money, not because these leaders are from the same church with them, not because these leaders are from the same religion with them. Nigeria should vote leaders who will solve problems.
Leaders who will solve,
especially leaders who will solve the problem of education in Nigeria.
Indeed. The problem of education is a huge problem. We all know that there is a popular saying that says if you want to destroy a country, just start from their educational sector. You don't need to throw any bombs. And indeed, one can say this is what has happened to Ukraine, because a lot of money was going into that country from foreign students who were coming to school there for relatively cheap education. And this is where I'd like to quickly open up the phone lines, get your take your text messages. Do you think, I mean, Mr. Adidi has told us that he doesn't think that a lot of them, I'm talking about our senators or our representatives at federal level, are there in our interest. Now, if you agree with this, what is the way forward? Let me quickly say that it is not a platform for abuse. We're genuinely looking for a way to get it right come 2023. And the lines are open. The numbers are 081 40,000 989 and 070 87800 989. Let's go take your calls now. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Quickly.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Hello?
Unfortunately, you cannot hear us, so we'll have to let this line go. Hello, good evening. Engineer, you're welcome. Go ahead, please. Do you agree? Do you agree with Mr. Adidi?
I am 100% support with what he says. This assembly, the Senate, they are not there for the masses. They are there for their selfish interest, because they are not representing the people the way they ought to represent the people. Because if they are there by the mandate of the people, they ought to do what the people want. But unfortunately, they are just doing what and will benefit them.
So what do we do about it?
Nothing we do about it. INEC should just be fair to the citizens and give the citizens what they voted for. Because no matter what they do to manipulate this election, if INEC will be transparent, give us free, credible election, many of them will not go back. And I think it's a wake-up call for the women. The women should participate. Now they should not look at it now as what they are talking about. So now they are the more of voting. So let them organize themselves, bring out somebody that will stand for them, and let them vote the person. I told you exactly. Anytime I talk, I am always with the women. But the problem are the women ready. That's not my problem.
A lot of women are ready, engineer. I tell you that.
Are they ready to give themselves the support that they need? The way that they are protesting, that they want equality, let them organize themselves like that during campaign. Vote for themselves, and I will support them.
Okay.
If I'm given the opportunity to govern every place, I think most of my cabinet will be the women, because they have the feeling. I have confidence in them that they will do better.
Okay.
These men we have in this national assembly, they are so greedy and so selfish. Now
let's take other calls, engineer.
Okay.
And thank you so much. We will get to put your sentiments to the test from 2023, engineer. Good evening. You're welcome.
Yes, good evening. I'm Kure by name.
Mr. Kure, it's been a while. You're welcome.
Madam, you understand, I'm passing ahead. Honestly, I have a lobby. Sometimes when you are programming your when I'm already
we pray strength for you. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. You see, the women don't need to ask for a slot or ask for a percentage. They are They are our mothers. Anything they say is final, as the engineer have said it. But are they ready? That's the question we want to ask you. See, those that are there, I was expecting them. Anything they are doing there, they should give their own opinion. But none of them is participating.
How do you know that? How do you know that, Mr. Kure? We're talking about very few women at lower and upper chamber. They're not up to 50.
That's what we are saying. Are they really ready? All we were saying, let them come out. We came from
Mr. Kure, how will they come out when from party level, which is what I was trying to explain to Mr. Didi, from party level, the whole process is skewed against them? How do you get past those hurdles that have already been put, even from party level? Is it not the flag bearers of a party that Nigerians would vote for?
That's what the speaker tell you. If they can gather 500, including youth, plus we that are supporting them, I think they are good to go. So a woman is somebody that say yes and she never turn back. An issue of our elite allow their children to school outside. That's why we get it wrong. That's why Adamu is doing what he knows how to do to us. Honestly, if their children are schooling here, even for a day, they won't allow their children to go outside. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Mr. Kure. Well, now you know that a huge majority of them killed that bill and asked for it to be withdrawn. You also have a part to play. Find out if a representative voted for or against that bill. Let's take another call. Hello, good evening. Yes, good evening. You're welcome.
Madam, how are you?
I'm doing great. Your name, please.
And this is Evangelist.
You're welcome, Evangelist. All right.
Have we done when communication is effective?
Yeah,
Have we done that one?
Women's participation.
Okay.
I feel there should be no lobbying or anything special. Just like the women compete for other public offices. Like a woman can be a director in an organization. Nobody lobby or give any special preference. It's on merit.
Exactly, Evangelist, it is on merit. And this is because they rose through the ranks. This is because it is difficult for you to just suddenly come from nowhere and change what the procedure already is. And this is what the people of Nigeria are asking, that let it be done. And our representatives of the upper and lower chamber are throwing it out. In the ministry, it's difficult to say a woman cannot become a director except if she hasn't risen through the ranks.
That's what we are.
So let it be applied in all cases.
How can it be applied? That's what we're asking.
The political appointment, the constitution did not say the woman should not be a chairman of a local government. The woman should not be a president. The woman should not be a house of reps. But it is just sort of certain hurdles that they go through. So those things are not constitutional. So if they are,
it leaves all parties involved satisfied.
Okay.
It is accomplished by the spirit of consensus building.
On that. But one other area I want to emphasize on a serious note is the way our elites of the politicians use us. They use us and dump us. Certain things that we begin to change the system, the way we do them. For instance, a leader now, or some of these governors or members, the politicians generally will go a particular position on a particular platform. And when they assume that position,
they will say, if you call it infuse, they will say we infuse.
It's through this particular party, political party or platform, they became popular,
Okay.
So they will just dump it, like the speaker said here. It's not personalized. On your own, nobody knows you. You join a particular party, and because of that party, you became popular. They made you whatever you are. Then all of a sudden, you did not carry the people along. You don't consult the people.
Is it what?
non-existent.
Well,
When communication is effective, it leaves all parties involved satisfied, feeling accomplished by the spirit of consensus building.
Yes.
okay.
Are you saying something, or should I?
No. I just wanted to, because I want to
Is
take
that
at
what-
least
is that-
one more
is that what
call
you have?
before we have to go.
Oh, okay. So my own emphasis is that number one, we the people that elect, we should be very, very wise.
Okay.
Open our eyes.
All right.
It's not all that glitters and gold.
right.
We
Okay.
should be very careful.
Page 13, 2.4.
Okay. And thank you very much. Your point is made, Evangelist. Let's take one more call
Yes.
quickly. You have 30 seconds. Hello, good evening.
After incitement
You're
to
welcome.
violence,
I'm doing
disinformation.
great. Thank you for asking. My apologies already. You have only 30 seconds. Please make your point.
Okay, I want to make my input on this issue.
Yes. Your name, sir.
My name is General John Osimeke.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes, so my input is that we have a very huge opportunity. Women, we know that if we pick women of the nation, we have a great opportunity. So women should start to be. I mean, for women because this is Nigeria. It's overdue. We are
Your
tired of the
line
men
is-
too. Overdue. Hello.
Yes, your line wasn't too clear.
Okay, we are looking for who are becoming president of Nigeria, the woman becoming president of Nigeria.
Okay, well, we're waiting to test that theory. After all, we hear, the present governor of Kaduna State has said, come 2023, a woman might just lead this state. So a lot of the men who are saying that they're female champions, that would be the time that we would wait to see what is going to happen, both at local level here in Kaduna State and at federal level. But quickly coming back to you, Mr. Adidi, the lines are buzzing. And so you would find that this is a very, very sensitive topic, a topic that a lot of people are concerned about and do have opinions about. But in my conversation with the people, I seem to feel like it's either people do not really understand the issue or we're deliberately not understanding it. From party level, there is no way you can vote for a woman if she isn't a flag bearer. It is as if when people say women should take it, it is akin to asking someone with disability, asking that person to climb up stairs simply because that is the only way you can access stairs. And we're saying that if we must develop as a country, we must begin to make ramps for people with disability because that is equity. And this is what the women are trying to do in their own sphere, looking for equity in the Constitution. In your closing, Mr. Adidi, I come to you.
Be discouraged.
Your words, your last word, Mr. Adidi.
Exactly. We have to change the narratives in our country. We have to think twice and do enough of critical thinking if we must do the right thing. And I will keep saying it. Nigerians should stop collecting money and Nigerians should stop using sentiments to vote. Nigerians should look for people who will solve problems and not to create more problems. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Mr. Adidi. We wish you well in your current endeavor. We hope that you come home with a lot of success stories. Until when we see you, here's wishing you well. All right, thank you. And that was Mr. Timothy Adidi, Dokwesi Adidi. I would like to round up with this. It is only pure madness to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. Take a look around you. We have less than a year to the elections. With all the permutations that you've heard, what is different? I personally have been hearing the same old, same old. We're talking permutations of people who will probably be flag bearers of their parties, at least the major parties that we know. And it is the same old names that we are hearing. That is not the way to grow. And if we must develop as a people, we must push from party level that we begin to have changes where equity. You don't have to do the same thing for everyone. Do what each and every person needs to do to be equal. That is equity. And so people who say women should stop asking for it, they should go for it. We're talking about people who live in a skewed system already. If you think women can take power, if all it takes is for us to band together, then you're either very naive or you're deliberately being obtuse. Either way, the people who use us, every 4-year circle, they use us and they dump us. And we start to complain for another 4-year circle. And then they come back and then they use us and they dump us. Think about it. To those who are aspiring, be you woman or man, you might want to look at even floating your own party. Easier said than done. Yes, I know. But maybe that would be the way to go. Because currently, anyone taking a look at the Nigerian situation, there seems not to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And you know what I mean. Until next week, support women. Give us a chance. You've never seen us at the highest office, not at state level and not at federal level. Try us. Who knows? You might be surprised pleasantly. Remain victorious.